Hi.
There.
Uh, Good to see you.
Ew. I love your office. It's so pretty.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So we'll give it a few minutes. I think
Okay.
there's like 55 people that signed up, which is great.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excited. Um, Anything else I should know?
I got your links for your gift and there was something else in there I copied. But I'll put that in the chat, when you talk about it. So don't feel like you have to go find the links and things.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Just have fun. Introduce yourself in the beginning. That's when I'll start the recording, and make it your own. And I'll
Okay.
be there if I need to, if someone's having background music, I mean, like whatever noise, I can mute them and things like that. But yeah,
Good.
and then I'll add it to the YouTube library and send it out after, to everybody that registered, as well as put it in our Facebook group. So
Okay. Perfect.
yeah, do you have any questions?
I don't think so. I have some slides, so
Let me make you the host, actually.
okay, great. Perfect.
Let's see here. Co-host. There you go. So that should be able to, you should be able to share something
Okay.
now.
Okay, great.
Hey, Jen.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today?
Good. A little cold. Starting to get chilly here.
Yeah.
Colorado must be a little chilly too, right? Or,
Well, summer and fall are having an argument. So, like when I woke up this morning, it was 40 degrees and it's going to hit 84 by afternoon.
oh,
So,
wow.
Wow.
hence me taking off the, fleece and sitting here going, it's kind of chilly, but it's going to be really hot later. So, I don't know what kind of season this is.
Yes. Yeah. We're past that. We're like, it's just cold now. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Where are you from, Katie?
I'm in Pasadena, California.
Okay. So you're nice and toasty.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
actually gotten down a little bit. I mean, it's in the 70s during the day and then 50s at night. So,
Oh, that's perfect.
yeah, it's nice. Well, a couple weeks ago we were in the 90s and hundreds still.
Oh, wow. Not so fun.
No, no, that was not fun. So I'm really glad it's now cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're joining us, just maybe put where you're from in the chat and what you do. That might help Katie out.
Yeah, it'd be great to know where you're from and yeah, what you're doing.
Yeah, we have our members do all kinds of stuff, so it's always nice to see who we have.
Mhm. Absolutely.
We'll give it a few minutes. So usually I start around a couple minutes past. So
Yeah, no problem. Burnout coach. Oh, that's a good one. So many people I know feel very burned out.
Yeah.
if you're just joining us, feel free to put where you're from in the chat and what you're doing for work. Cool. Yoga teacher and personal trainer. So Katie, who are your clients usually? Like who do you work with? Just wellness professionals or?
I work with creatives, like creative freelancers and creative entrepreneurs.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Mm. Yeah. And I can go into a little bit of why I those are the people I serve.
Mm-hmm. Holistic health and wellness coach. Yeah, pricing's always a hard thing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be great to know if there's any specific thing you're looking to get out of this talk too. Anything with money that is kind of keeping you stuck. I'm gonna leave some time at the end to answer any questions too.
All right. Well, if you want to get started, it's a couple minutes past.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect. All right, I'm gonna share my screen because I've got a slide. Let's see. All right, so can everyone see this? See the screen? Okay, great.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, so today we are going to be talking about making money doing what you love and then how to price your services while doing so, okay? And here's who I am. I'm a trauma-informed master financial wellness coach. I'm a graduate of UC Berkeley's financial planning program and Elementum Institute, which is a trauma-informed training certification. And I help creative freelancers and entrepreneurs make more, worry less, and achieve true financial freedom so that you can create the life of your dreams. And the reason that I do what I do is because one, I was a former TV producer and I was freelance most of the time. So I really understand what it's like to have that sort of inconsistent income, the ups and downs. And of course, you know, I also have my own business now and I've had it for almost 7 years. And so, yeah, there are moments in my business where it is up and down. And the other reason that I do what I do is a more personal reason. And it's because I've known 3 women in my life who stayed in abusive relationships because of the lack of money. They didn't work outside of the home and they had young children to take care of. So they felt really stuck in their situation. And so my mission is to help everyone I know to make decisions not based on money. Instead, I want you to make decisions based on your core values and the dreams that you have for yourself, for your business, and if you have a family, for your family. All right. So I'm going to start with a little story of one of my clients, Laura. She is a personal trainer. She's a health and wellness coach. And she was, you know, her husband is actually a financial advisor. So she was like, I know everything there is to know about investing and, you know, IRAs and all of those things. But what I don't understand is how to raise my rates because every single time I've tried to raise my rates, the fear comes over me and then I just don't do it, right? And then she wasn't able to make more money because of that. And so the things that we worked on was around fear and around like what that fear can be holding us back from, and then where it stems from, right? And then once we've worked through those things, which I'm going to show you in today's webinar, is a way to then understand your own worth. And then she was able to raise her rates, right? And not only did she raise her rates, but then she was able to launch, you know, 2 online companies and then really understand her worth, right? And make her business really thrive. Okay, before we officially get started, I really love to do a little meditation because sometimes it's, you know, talking about money doesn't really, like you kind of go into your head, right? Or you get out of your body a little bit. So let's get more grounded. So if you're in a good place, like if you're not driving or anything, I just want to invite you to close your eyes. And once you close your eyes, I want you to just check in with your breath. And that's all that is just observing it going in and out. And then whenever you're ready, I want to invite you to take another deep breath in and hold it at the top. And then let it out through your mouth. And then I want you to imagine a cord going from the bottom of your chair or wherever you are sitting, going all the way into the center of the earth, feeling yourself being grounded. And then I want you to imagine a beam of light coming from the sky and going all the way through your body, starting from the top of your head, going down into your chest, your arms, stomach and legs, all the way through to the bottom of your feet, clearing out anything that doesn't belong there. And I want you to stay open and present and have a beginner's mindset. And keeping your eyes closed, I'm also going to read a couple of affirmations. I am peace, happiness, and prosperity. I am worthy of receiving wealth, health, and all that is good. I am meant to share my unique gifts and talents with the world and make money doing so. And let's just ground that all in by taking a deep breath again and holding it at the top. And let it out with a sigh or any other releasing sound. Lower your shoulders. Move anything around that you want to move around. And then whenever you are ready, you may open your eyes and come back to me. And just let me know in the chat, how are you feeling now from when you first started and got on today? All right, Marina says, thank you, I needed that, a little calmer. Awesome. Awesome. Great. Okay, so let's start with more grounded. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so most of you probably have heard that money is energy. I like to think about it as an exchange of energy, right? So you have a service that I need or want, like if, for example, with Jen, who is a burnout coach, right? Like if I'm feeling burnt out, I want to talk to Jen, right? And so, and then if I want to sign up with her, I'm going to exchange a currency, right? Whether it is my credit card or my debit card or PayPal or whatever it is, right? I'm going to exchange that. And so in order to exchange that energy, we have to be in the same energetic frequency in order to get that money, all right? And in order to get that same energetic frequency, we have to start to clear out a lot of the things that may be blocking us from actually moving forward and getting the clients that we want to get, right? And because of this, I always say that our financial life is a direct reflection of our emotional life, right? And our emotional life, if it's all over the place and we're feeling really down or angry about something, or it's not as clear as we want it to be, then that's going to be a reflection on that, right? Or if we're nervous or scared to talk to our clients or our potential clients about money, then all of a sudden our potential clients are going to also feel that fear, right? They're going to say, "Ooh, I'm not sure," right? Even if it's not a lot of money, they're going to think it is, right? They're going to start to go, "Oh, feels very expensive to me," right? And then now I'm going to have to go and think about it, right? Because the frequency isn't quite there. However, if you're super clear and in your energetic frequency of, yes, I deserve to actually get paid for the work that I'm doing, right? And I deserve to get paid X amount, right? And we'll talk about how to price that. Then that translates into your clients going, or potential clients going, yes, absolutely. That is so worth the money, right? And so we're going to talk through how to get to that place, right? But let's start with this idea that our emotions are really just energy in motion, right? And with money blocks or this limiting belief, it's like, what is dysregulating your emotions? Okay. So what is being blocked and not in motion? And then how do we unblock this, right? But let's start with what is a money block. For me, a money block is this. So in childhood, we are forming all kinds of things, right? In childhood, you don't know what money is really as children, right? All you know is how you feel when mom and dad and everybody around you is reacting to money, right? Like if dad is at the kitchen table doing taxes and really stressed out and angry at everyone, that's what you're absorbing, right? Or if mom is like, every time she's upset and sad, she is, online shopping or doing something, right? So what we absorb in childhood, that's what we're starting to get into our system. And that's where we form these deeply unconscious beliefs, right? That are keeping you stuck or keeping you in a pattern, and so that you're not doing exactly what you want or making as much money as you want. And now, as an adult, you have a choice. Do you, keep some of those beliefs, right? Or do you give it back to the person that it belongs to, or just release it, right? And, we can talk about how to do that. But before that, I'm going to tell you about my client, Anna. She was telling me that she could make a certain amount every single year, right? Like it was no problem to make a certain amount in her business. She actually was making a good amount. She was making 6 figures, but she couldn't ever make more. Every single year in her business, she was making pretty much exactly the same amount, right? And so we really started to dig a little deeper into her childhood and in her stories. And what we really uncovered was a block that wasn't even hers. It was something that happened to her grandfather, who was a wealthy landowner back in China. And, a lot of people were very jealous of his wealth. And it was during the kind of communist revolution. And her grandfather actually got killed because of it, because of the amount of money he had in his, with his land and all of the things he had. And so because of that story, it affected her father. And then, even though she didn't even know that many details about this story, it started to affect her because in her being, it started to feel like she can't get more, right? Because a certain amount was fine to take care of herself and her family, but then more would have been dangerous, right? And that belief system is really from her grandfather, not even from her. And so once we really uncovered this, then we did a process to release it, right? So that it was still honoring her grandfather and his story, but it wasn't keeping her small and not able to move forward in her business. Okay, so what are your beliefs? I want to know what do you think your beliefs are about money based off of the things that you grew up with, right? Because we all have these limiting beliefs about money that we've, heard and, and experienced as kids, right? So, and then there are some common beliefs, so I want to see in the chat if you know, right? If you know what your beliefs are, right? Like one of my beliefs came from my grandmother who had some money, but she was always very tight with her money. And then she would say things like, oh, when I die, no one's getting my money. I'm going to just be buried with it. Right. And so my belief growing up was, oh, I don't want to be like my grandmother. right? I don't want to be somebody who is tight and, you know, and always like thinking people are trying to steal her money. So in my 20s, I spent money like there was no tomorrow, right? Like even though I didn't have a lot of money, but every time my, you know, friends and I would go out, I would spend it all on drinks with my friends. Even when I was in college, I was taking cabs everywhere. Like, what college student is doing that, right? And so that is that unconscious belief system working, right? Is the fact that, like, oh, I don't want to be like my grandmother, who I think has some money. And I think rich people, you know, are really tight and cheap and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't want to be like that. So now I'm gonna do the opposite and just spend my money like, you know, as soon as it comes in, it goes right out. All right. And so what are some of yours? Okay, Catherine's saying money's a struggle. You'll never get paid what you're worth. That just doesn't happen to normal people. Got it. Marina, the most extreme for me would be my dad's belief that money equals sacrifice. Got it. Yeah, my mom's belief that people with money are bad and that money equals stress. Alexandra, money isn't safe with me. Yeah. Beth, I grew up thinking money was stress. People who had money were the others and we weren't them. Got it. Yes. Only college education and a good job makes money. If I have money, people will take advantage or expect me to support them. Got it. Money allows a healthy lifestyle and space for creative problem solving. It can all disappear, so you need a lot just in case, and I'll never be successful. Got it. Okay. Yes. So, and yeah, there a lot of these themes come up, you know, over and over again, right? Like money is the root of all evil, or I'll never be rich, or I have to work really hard to make money. I'm not good with money. Right. And so the thing is, we need to look at these beliefs and understand them, because that's the unconscious programming that keeps you stuck, right? That keeps you in a certain place, you know, in your business, right? And the way that you talk about money or the way that you receive money. And Michael Beckwith, who is, you know, a spiritual teacher, and I really love and admire him. He always says this, right? You don't get what you want, you actually get what you believe, right? Okay, so how do we start to release some of this? Okay, you know, as you know, because most of you are health and wellness practitioners, right? That, you know, we all have masculine and feminine traits, right? And masculine traits are the ones that are like driving you forward, doing all the things, you know, you can go, 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 right? However, in order to receive money, we actually have to be in our feminine. In our feminine, we actually receive money in a way that feels more like flow, and it feels easier, and it's not this push and drive and working super hard, right? So in order to get into that, we have to get into both our flow energy, our playful energy, and all of these other things that are part of the feminine, right? Being socially responsible, being conscientious, being collaborative and encouraging, creative and inspired, right? Resilient, embodied, passionate and vibrant, right? These are the ways to do this. And then if we just take even the two of these things, like flow energy and playfulness, right? Or creative and inspired. So first of all, I want you to acknowledge it, right? I want you to, you know, and acknowledge, name the emotion, right? That's, you know, when you hear these beliefs, what is the emotion that comes up for you around it, right? Does it feel fearful, or are you, does it feel like, that, you know, frustrating? What is the emotion that, you know, when you hear yourself talking about these beliefs, right? Second of all, I want you to validate that emotion, right? Because, you know, you don't want to just push down the emotion or push it away, right? Instead, you're like, okay, I hear it, right? It feels like it's very frustrating for me to feel this way, right? Then I want you to introduce or reintroduce some movement into this, right? So in order to release it, it's like, okay, you want to cry, shake, you know, you can scream into a pillow, you can dance, you can jump up and down. while you are releasing those emotions. Okay. All right, so that's one of the ways, is to start to create some movement to release emotions. All right, the next thing that we're going to talk about is knowing that you're worthy of receiving, right? Knowing that you're worthy of receiving all that is good, and cultivating your own self-worth, right? Because self-worth to me is equal to net worth, right? In the other way isn't true. A lot of people with high net worth may not have high self-worth, right? That's when they can kind of get into trouble, right? Like a lot of child stars who don't know themselves yet, right? Then, they've created some, issues with their money, or being taken advantage of by managers or other people, right? Or people who've won the lottery, for example, right? The studies have shown that 70% of people who've won the lottery lose it within 3 years. And most of the time we were saying to ourselves, like, how is that even possible, right? How I would never lose millions of dollars, right, in 3 years. And yet, if you don't really know yourself and know your own worth, then it's so much easier to actually lose that money within 3 years, right? Mainly because it's easy to give it away, or do what I was doing in my 20s, which was buying drinks for everyone at the bar, or taking cabs everywhere, right? Because as soon as it comes in, it can go out so much easier if you don't actually believe it. Like if one of your belief systems is, I've got to work really hard in order to make the money, then that money didn't come in through your own hard work, right? The lottery winning came in because, yeah, you were lucky or something. So something in your system doesn't quite agree with that. And so then it's so much easier to just spend it out, or give it away, or, start to spend it on things that may not be part of your values. Okay. So what is self-worth? So to me, self-worth is not cockiness or bragging, or, saying I'm this or that, but instead self-worth is this quiet, powerful knowing deep down inside of you of like who you are and what you bring to the table. All right. And I'm going to repeat that because I think that's so important. To me, self-worth is a quiet, powerful knowing deep down inside of you of who you are and what you bring to the table. All right. And so in order to do this, what we were talking about at the very beginning, right? And I'm coming back to it here, is that exchange of energy, right? Being in the energy of what you want. So being able to shift your energy looks like this, right? Understanding what it is that you're doing and how you're contributing, right? So what is it that you do, and what do you think that you do so well in your business, right? And helping yourself to understand that. I would love to see that. Like, if you want to put it into the chat, like, what is it that you do? You all know that, and some of you have already put that into the chat. But then what do you believe that, you do so well with your particular business? All right, and while you put that into the chat, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so one of the other ways to start to shift your energy, to me, shifting our energy is kind of like the Force. I really love Star Wars. And, it's like that scene where Obi-Wan Kenobi was with the droids and passes through the stormtroopers. And, and then when they go through the stormtroopers, Obi-Wan says, "These are not the droids you're looking for," right? And he kind of passes his hand like this. And then the stormtroopers are like, "These are not the droids we're looking for. Keep going." Right. And shifting your energy is exactly like this, actually. Right. It's a way of like being in your body that translates to somebody else, and they're already receiving the messages before you even say anything. Right. We can all read energy, like we're all reading energy right now. Right. And so if you're reading energy, the other side, your clients, your potential clients are also reading that energy constantly, right? All right, Marina says, I deliver spiritual guidance in words and energy that only I could deliver. Gentleness, compassion, and kindness are the main energies behind the guidance I provide. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, that is so good. All right. This is something I love doing to, we can do this together, but you can keep your your audio off or on mute, but just saying out loud, right? Like I want you to say I and then your name am worthy of having all my needs met all the time. So I, Katie, am worthy of having all my needs met all the time. You, your name. So you, Katie. So I'm going to say you, Katie, are worthy of having all your needs met all the time. And then, whatever, she, he, they, whatever your pronouns are, Katie, are having all of her needs met all of the time. So say this out loud and tell me how each of these feel to you, right? Like, what does it feel like? And while you're putting that in the chat, let's see. Alexander says, I help my clients to overcome obstacles by guiding them to the divine intelligence within their own heart space. Amazing. Yeah, so cool. Macy, okay. You feels like my guides are giving me the guidance. Yes, yes, absolutely. Comforting. I definitely believe the I statement, but find it easier to say the you and she statements. Okay, good. I help clients do it. Okay. Burnout and vicarious trauma using a whole person, wholehearted approach, reigniting their spark and passion. Oof, so good. Yes. And it feels yummy. Great. Right. So there is a shift here. Most of the time, one of these will actually spark some kind of shift in you, right? So that you actually believe it. For me, it's usually it's the second one that actually does it for me, right? This first one, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, maybe, I don't know if I truly believe it yet. But then when I say you, Katie, are worthy of having all your needs met all of the time, for some reason, that always gives me a little bit of a shift and it starts to go, yes, okay, I believe that, right? And so whichever one of these is the shift, right? That's the one that is a great one for you to even write down and put into practice, right? Do a little bit of an affirmation thing in the morning or before you talk to potential clients, right? I feels like I'm trying to convince myself. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, you feels like a statement of fact. Yes, yes. That was for me too, right? I made me feel empowered. You made me feel not worthy enough, and she made me feel judged. Okay, that's so interesting. So then your statement is that I statement, right? My monkey mind popped in and said, if I'm worthy, then why isn't the money here? Okay, yes, okay, that's great. So that's a good moment to notice that there is some belief work still that needs to, come through, right? You need to, there still needs to be some work done on your belief system. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. Okay, so first of all, if you're unsure of your rates, like I said before, then your potential clients, or if you have a job, boss will be unsure and feel like you're too much money, right? Or they have to think about whether the money is worth it to them. Okay? And so it's important that you're very clear about what your rates are, right? And to me, charging what you're worth is a misconception. I know there's a lot of, people, business coaches, that kind of stuff in this industry, right? Especially in the coaching industry, who are always advocating to charge what you're worth, right? However, I think that is a little bit detrimental to ourselves in some ways too, right? Because we're worth billions of dollars. We're actually priceless, so saying that you're charging what you're, go and charge what you're worth, like, that doesn't really, it's not as concrete, right? So let's start with this. So to me, one is the race should be based off of your experience in what you're doing. And then also what you can confidently say in your body, right? After you've shifted your energy and after you filled up your self-worth, right? So don't do it on a day when you feel really bad or feel really bad about yourself, right? Or feeling negative in any way. But instead, once you've filled your cup up, you feel really good, and you really understand, like, all of these things that you're putting into the chat, you understand what it is that you do and how you do it so differently, and getting yourself really pumped up, like, I'm so excited and I have such a huge purpose and I really want to help people with this. Then I want you to close your eyes and feel into your body what amount comes up for you, right? What is the first thing that comes up for you in terms of how much you charge, right? And then I want you to go even above that and see how it feels, right? Like, I did this exercise even last night with a client, and it was really surprised her. She was charging $100 an hour. She's a memorization coach for a lot of big name actors, including, I think I can mention it because we're in our group, but she's worked with like Austin Butler, right, on memorizing scripts. Okay, and she charges like $100 an hour to these big name celebrities, right? And so, and it felt scary for her to even say she charged more than that, right? Like to do anything more than $100 an hour. And even at $100 an hour, it felt kind of scary for her, right? But then when we did this exercise where I had her closing her eyes, and at first I started with, okay, what would it take for you to say, I charge $1,000 an hour, right? And, it felt really scary for her. Like, every single bit of her body was just like, I can't do that, right? Like, it was just not comfortable. So then we went down to 750, we went down to $500 an hour, we went down to $400 an hour, and then finally at $300 an hour, for some reason, it was so clear. She said it really clearly, right? And
Hello. Hey, I'm calling to give you a quick check-in.
I'm gonna mute. Yeah, thank you. And she said it super clearly, and afterwards, she felt like she said to me, "Wow, that was so weird. Like, 300 actually felt really good to me." Right. And I was like, well, that is your number, right? Because the body is not going to lie, right? Our minds lie. Our minds tell us all kinds of stories. Our minds are all over the place, right? Like, Marina says her monkey mind popped in and said, if I'm worthy, then why isn't the money here, right? It's our minds are always telling us things that are not actually true. However, our body knows. And our body is the place where then you are able to say a number confidently to those potential clients, and those potential clients are going to believe you, right? And then feel that energetic frequency that we were talking about and know that, yes, that is the number I should be paying, right? And so this is the way I want you to start to look at how you're pricing things in your business, right? What can you confidently say with your eyes closed and really checking in with your body, right? And I want you to start off with a number that's really high so that you can feel the difference, right? So that okay, I'm not quite at $1,000 an hour, right? Or whatever it is. If you're not charging by the hour, if you're charging monthly or whatever, say those numbers, right? Like, if you're doing a monthly package and you're saying, I charge $10,000 a month, right? And then if it feels super uncomfortable in your body, then that's not your number. Instead, it's like, okay, well, I charge $7,500 a month, and then it feels different, right? Or I charge $5,000 a month, and it feels really calm and grounded and energetic, and like you can say that in a way that feels so good to you, and it feels almost like, you know, like you're getting a great deal, right? Potential client, you're actually getting a beautiful, wonderful, great deal by, you know, with this number. That is your number, okay? That is your rate. And then, of course, when you're in this place of talking about money and giving your rates, after you give your rates, I always tell people to just stay silent, not say anything afterwards, mainly because, again, you are in your energetic frequency, right? And the way to stay in your energetic frequency is to say the number knowing that that is the right number, right? And for them to actually be sort of transmuted into that number, just like the droids, the, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, these are not the droids you're looking for, and then not saying anything. And then a second later, or 2 seconds later, the stormtrooper says, these are not the droids we're looking for, right? It's the same thing for your clients to start to receive that energetic frequency, right? To go, okay, there's a second here. She's in her power. She knows that this is the price, right? There is no budging on that price, and she understands that, and I understand it. I can feel it, and I can feel like, yeah, it's totally worth it, right? So giving me that space to really feel it, and then I know, you know, then I can say yes to that, okay? Let me know if that makes sense to everyone. All right. Then the next place to shift your energy is before you get on a call to a potential client, right? A prospective client is one, to assume the yes. Right? Your energy is so different if you assume the yes rather than assuming no, right? Or giving yourself all the reasons why somebody may say no to you. I mean, I understand why you're doing that because you're basically protecting yourself, right? You're protecting yourself from that, that letdown, right? Of somebody not signing up. However, if you're doing that, you're going into this client call, this potential client call with the energy of, ooh, like, I don't know if you're gonna want to say yes, and I'm still protecting myself, right? So that when you say no, I'm gonna be okay. But that protective energy actually translates to your client as, you know, you can work with me or not, I don't really care. So instead, I want you to go into this client call with the intention, with this energy of yes, right? Assuming that they are already going to say yes, because if you assume the yes, that they're already going to do that, then your energy is going to be so much more open, and you're going to be saying things and doing things on that call in a very different way. And then the second way to shift your energy before a call is to set your intention. Why is this important to you, right? Why is it important to you to do this work? Not why is it important to you to get them to say yes and sign up with you, even though you can start with that. For sure, you can start with that. However, I would then want you to get a little bit deeper, right? Like, let's say it's like your first inclination is to say, well, I need the money. So I'm going to say, you know, I really want this person to say yes to me. And then but then why is that important? Why do you need the money, right? Oh, well, because I need to pay my bills. Okay. Why is that important? Right? Well, you know, it's important for me to pay my bills so that I can take care of myself and my family. Okay, well, why is that important, right? Keep going until you find a very, very emotional reason why what you do is important, why making the sale is important, right? All of these things, because if you find that emotional why, then that is also the place where that potential client is going to feel it and understand it and feel moved to actually work with you as well. Okay, so knowing your why is so important. And then it's important finally to shift from that place of desperation, right? Like we were talking about, like, I really need to make money, to a place of, I'm here to give value, right? And if they're meant to be my client or meant to be the job that I'm going to get, then it will be, right? Because the place of desperation is not attractive, right? And you're not attracting anyone from that place. It's just like going on a date, right? If the first date you're on, somebody's coming at you and saying, I need to be married by, next month, and I need to start to have kids in, like 3 months from now, and I need to do this, this, and this, and this. Whoa, right? Like, even if you liked the person, you're still a little bit like, that energy is way too much, right? And so you've got to shift out of that energy of desperation, right? And so it's so important that you get yourself grounded, you start to clear out all of the stuff that's in your way, right? All of the belief systems that are no longer serving you. And so that you can get into a very clear place of like, I'm here to serve you, I'm here to give value, I'm here to help, whatever it is that you're working through. I'm going to be really present, and I'm going to assume that you're going to want to work with me after this, right? Okay. All right, I'm going to check the time. Okay, I'm going to spend just a very brief amount of time on spending consciously in your business, because this wasn't something I was going to go into, in detail anyway, right? But there is a place of spending consciously in our businesses, right? And so here's kind of a general guideline of like how to make some money decisions in your business. So first of all, thinking about, is this a wise investment, right? Does it align with my core values? And then can you afford it, right? Like, so that means like, I would say, is it, about 10%? Like if it's an investment in your business, then is it about 10% of what you're bringing in, right? Or less, so that is a good kind of rule of thumb. And let me talk about my client, Kara, who's a reading coach for kids. She is a big spender when it comes to health food, personal growth, coaching, courses, and retreats, right? Um, and then, however, afterwards, she sometimes feels really guilty about spending money. Like if she spent $300 at Whole Foods, even though her values are with health stuff, she feels guilty about it, right? And then she also feels nervous about spending her money. And one of her top core values is health and wellness. She's also a runner. She lives in New York City. And when we were talking about spending some money on something that, would really give back to her, she said, oh, I have a pair of sneakers that have holes in them. So I probably should replace those. And I said, yes, absolutely, right? Because those sneakers are the foundations for her feet. Also, I don't think that there's a coincidence that, the bottom of your sneakers are called soles, right? And so and then there's the word soul, even though they're not spelled the same, but they sound the same. So I said, energetically, in some ways, you're leaking from the soul, right? And from your soul. And so I said, yeah, it would be a great thing for you to, get a new pair of sneakers. But she didn't do it for a long time. And then when she finally did it, the week she did it, she doubled her income. She filled her coaching roster, and she hired another coach to work under her, right? And then she also received an opportunity to work with like a major education company, right? To bring in even more money. And she texted me and she was like, oh my gosh, what kind of magic is this? Like, what just happened, right? And to me, it's not of the fact that like I told her to buy the sneakers. It wasn't even the fact that she bought the sneakers, right? It was really, all it was that she now understood her own self-worth, right? And she was giving messages to the universe that she was actually worthy of receiving all that is good, like what we were talking about before, right? And just by giving this message to the universe that she can take care of herself and that she's worthy of having nice things that don't energetically leak, right? And there are no holes in the bottom of her sneakers. Then she was also giving a message to the universe that she was, worthy of receiving other opportunities and more money and all of these other things. Okay, so this is how it all works, right? We're putting it all together in terms of, if you understand your own belief system, you know that you're worthy of receiving all that is good, and you've actually worked on clearing out all the stuff that you don't need anymore, that is no longer yours to carry, then you are also shifting in terms of being able to receive the money and the opportunities that you need and want, right? So let's start with the end in mind. This time next year, how would you like to feel about your goals? And what kind of money would you like to be making in your business? What kind of impact would you have made? What kind of adventure and play did you get into? What kind of risks did you take, right? And how did you circulate your money in a way that aligns with your values? Let me know in the chat. And then we can open it up for some Q&A. I also have a couple of ways for you to stay connected with me. I have this Money Magic newsletter. And if you are here today, for the 12 of you who are here, if you want to talk through your pricing or anything like that, let me know. You can get this coaching call with me by signing up for the newsletter. And then I also have a mindful money mastery guide, and thank you for putting it into the chat, Michelle. And it is a guide to actually help you to make some shifts in that belief system. Okay, it's a powerful way. There are prompts that helps you to look at, or even if you don't know what the beliefs are at this time, there are ways to figure out what your belief system is and then start to make those shifts, okay, in that PDF. So it's a good, it's a really great way to look at that. Okay, so any questions? I'd love to open it up for questions in our last 10 minutes that we have together, or if you have pricing questions, if you want to go through, how to price your services with me, I would love to do that. Let's see. I joined late, but this has been incredibly helpful. I've done a lot of coaching, but appreciate this perspective, energetic outlook. Amazing. Thank you, Ellen. Alexandra, how do you feel about when someone has aligned with the energy of worthiness and makes purchases to show the universe that they are worthy, even if they don't have the money coming in to cover it, but they believe that the money will come through doing so? I think that is a wonderful way to do it, right? As long as it's not like, I don't want it to be egregious, right? Like if you're like, okay, I don't have $10,000 to spend on something, but I'm going to spend $10,000. I mean, sometimes, yes, that may be okay, may work out in your favor, but most of the time, like, you got to really understand why you're also doing that, right? Like, again, go back to those intentions we were talking about, So if you, and really get clear about what it is that you're trying to achieve. If you know that it's going to pay dividends, right? If you're feeling it in your body and that it's going to pay some dividends in the long run, then I do absolutely think that this is a beautiful way to start to bring in a different energy, right? And shift what you're doing. Okay, let's see. There are a lot of bankrupt entrepreneurs. I agree with getting clear and being tempered and rational. Yes, absolutely. Right. Yeah, it's important that we're not just spending money for the sake of spending money, or just kind of deluding ourselves, right? Because we can be in a place of being like, oh yeah, of course the money's going to come, right? And then just spend, and then never feeling like, okay, we're getting anything back in return. Yeah, Jen.
Hello.
Hi.
Let me lower my hand.
Yeah.
So I would love to talk to you more about pricing, especially for larger packages.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, like I threw in there that this year I did raise my rates
Mhm.
because I knew that with my experience level, I was like way under market rate.
Mhm.
And now it's funny because I'm like, I feel like I need to raise them some more,
Mhm.
but I'm just kind of playing with that.
Mhm.
And then I'm getting ready to do a big launch. And so that's why this was like beautiful timing
Yes.
because I have like the program, like everything's about ready. I'm
Mhm.
gonna still be doing some stuff as it goes,
Yeah.
and so this is a big one for me and it's deeply personal. It's like my magnum opus, right?
Mhm.
Because I spent years working in a residential trauma and addiction recovery center.
Mhm.
And that's why I started studying burnout because I lived on site. And I needed to protect myself.
Mhm.
And so I'm launching a program that's for residential trauma and addiction recovery programs. I spoke with someone else I know who's a business coach who helped me like figure out like you price per package, not per person who goes through it, because we want the facility paying.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, the pricing just like I find myself bouncing all over the place, and I think it's because it's such a deeply personal project. I
Mhm.
know how much they desperately need this because this is going in deep on vicarious trauma,
Okay.
which is talked about even less than burnout.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I've kind of I set the price and then I was like, no, that's way too cheap, so I raised it.
Okay.
And I'm like, I think it's still really low, but then there's that fear factor of they're not going to pay.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
What is what is the price that you had it at originally, and then what is the price that you raised it to?
so at first I was looking at, and bare bones basic, it's a 12-week program, so there's 12 group sessions. How can I make this offer even better? I decided to throw in one individual per person per month. So
Okay.
that's 24 individuals plus 12 group sessions.
Mhm.
Um, and so I started at 24,000 and then I looked at for 8 people.
Mhm.
And then I looked at how many hours is it going to take me to do this from first contact to last session.
Mhm.
And it's going to be probably over the course of 3 months, including, all the contact negotiations. It's probably going to be about 120 to 150 hours.
Okay. Lot.
So suddenly 22,000 was way low. 30,000 is where I took it. It still
Okay.
feels lower.
Mhm.
Um, but again, that's where I fear if I raise it higher than that, because I'm
Mhm.
asking the employer to pay a pretty good chunk of money.
Mhm.
And these are for groups of 8, and I want them to put all their employees through there,
Mhm.
not just their therapist. I want, outreach, psych techs, back office, everyone.
Mhm.
So that's where I think that fear factor hits. When I go over 30, I get afraid, even though I know it's worth more.
Mhm. Got it. All right. Before we get into well, okay, so let's acknowledge that the fear is there, right? And yeah, and then that fear is there to protect you. And what is it protecting you from?
Rejection.
Got it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so just letting your mind know that you hear it and there, it's a place of, yeah, like, and I could go down that, but I'm not gonna do
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
right now, right? Like, because you're a coach too, so it's important for you to uncover and go, okay, well, where is that place of rejection, like from
Oh,
childhood
I
or
totally know all that. I've looked at that one.
Good. I thought you did. So I'm not going to go into that direction. However, just acknowledging it is so important so that you can get really clear about, you know, all right, I hear that, and yet I still want to raise my rates, right? Because if
Mhm.
you don't acknowledge that part of it, then the raising the rates is going to always feel super challenging to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to just even close your eyes to do this process. Okay, great. And let's say I'm talking to you. You're talking to me. I'm one of the, facilitation places that you want to bring this program to, and then I'm the one that's making the decisions about whether or not we're gonna bring you in. Okay, so Jen, I love everything you were just talking about. And then I want you to start with saying that you charge 60,000, okay, for this program.
Ooh,
Okay, yes.
I charge $60,000 for a 12-week program that includes 12 weekly sessions and one individual per month per participant.
Okay. What did that feel like in your body?
Cool, like here and here, heart and throat, man.
Yes, okay. Yes. Okay, now let's do this again. And I want you to go down to 50,000. Okay. And okay, so Jen, I loved everything you were saying. How much is it going to cost us?
So it's 50,000 for a group of 8.
Okay. How did that feel in your body?
I can feel it a little bit in my jaw and in my shoulders. There's still tension,
Yep.
but it's a lot better than 60.
Okay. All right, let's go down to 45,000.
I charge 45,000 per group of 8.
Okay. Let's do it again at 42,000.
I charge 42,000 for a group of 8, yeah.
What did that feel like to you in your body?
That eased the tension on the top of my tummy. Yeah,
Yeah.
that felt a lot safer.
I could actually even see it. I could see it, and and then your voice changed, right? I think we
Mm,
all heard you,
yeah,
saw
I
that.
heard it change.
Right, right. Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So that's an interesting place and to just really notice, right? And I would say that either that amount or around that amount is probably where you are going to land
Okay.
with your pricing, right? Because if it feels energetically in your body that this is the place, then you're going to be able to sell that.
Nice. That was really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thanks, Jen. All right, everyone. Anyone else? Or anyone else have any other questions? Ellen, did you want to also do a pricing kind of test? I wasn't sure.
Did you say Ellen?
Yeah.
Okay, there. I hold on.
Okay.
Well, I want to work with you, but I'm coming off of a big epiphany. So I do a lot of different things, but the thing that I have been struggling with most in terms of pricing is that I do bioresonance. It can be in person, it can be remote. My protege was charging for she was doing is doing still in-person massage. I get a lot of massage in different places throughout the US. She's world class. She uses hot stones, she uses these little hammers, she does all the things, and then she does the bioresonance too. And then she has a cold laser and all these things, and she's charging $65 an hour. And she was been telling me that I've been charging too much and that I need to like just get people better. Like that's my whole goal. In the meantime, I had joined this business mentorship and it was really expensive, and they're functional medicine coaching, which is different than bioresonance. And I do both. But I've been struggling with my pricing because I've got two very different perspectives I tried pricing per package. So I'd have some coaching and then bioresonance in there. This is remote. I wasn't charging enough, and then I'm tied to my computer all the time, depending on the client, not able to set boundaries. So I have to like, I'm in the middle of so many different paradigms. I'm
Mhm.
sick, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
um
No,
I
I
yeah.
think it would be good for us to just have a chat. So I'm putting my email in the
And
chat.
I've signed up for both of your
Okay, good. Good.
things. But
Yeah.
you know, the thing is that I think too, for me, I was rolling along with pricing so much, and then I ended up getting really ill and feeling like an imposter.
Mm,
And I think this is a common thing with a lot of coaches, like we're not perfect. So who are we to coach anybody on life or health or whatever, you know, when we all have our own stuff? How do you frame that for people in terms of imposter syndrome?
yeah. Well, in terms of imposter syndrome, it's like, yes, of course, it comes up for everybody. I think like if you're a very conscientious person, right, and who is also very intuitive and emotional and all these things, it's gonna come up at certain points. And yet, what I want to remind you of is if you have helped even one person, like, isn't that worth for you to keep going, right?
Yeah, I just went to this large health entrepreneur conference, and it was fascinating because the supposed expert on Lyme and mold has this thought that she's not going to ever clear her brain inflammation, which is from mold. And then this person who's selling this whole line of um, infused essential oils for trauma has her own stuff that she can't unpack yet. And so for me, that was, there's no shame on them, but that was for me like, okay, I can be human and continue in this line of work. I just got really, really sick, and it felt like, who am I to tell anybody anything?
Yeah.
Or help anybody in any way when I'm literally, coming out of, a near-death experience, because everyone missed it, including myself, what happened. But
That's also a place, right? Like if you have these experiences, who else better to help people?
and it is that, and that's why I'm reaching out, because I appreciate the perspective shift. And yeah, I look forward to chatting. So
Yeah, me too.
thank you so much for this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ellen. All right, thank you, everyone. We're gonna conclude because I think we're out of time now. But thank you, everyone, for being here. And like I said, for the 12 people who were here, you get to talk to me one-on-one. I'd love to support you, help you, look at your pricing, whatever it is, or any money blocks that may be in your way, right? Or anything that you may not even know what your money blocks are, and we can also do that in the session, okay? And then you're on my list, and then also take advantage of that mindful money mastery guide, because it is a really good guide. It goes into a lot of detail on how to shift your beliefs, your money beliefs. All right. So thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and just sending you lots of money goodness.